Today's NFL Daily, as well as Smooth Sack Summer, is made possible by Manscaped. They have the best men's grooming products on the internet, and they're giving you 20% off and free shipping when you head over to manscaped.com/chat. Tell you more about them later on in today's show, but we've got a pretty jam-packed slate of NFL rumors and news to break down for you. We've got the latest on Deshaun Watson and his appeal or not his appeal, the NFL's appeal of his suspension, a potential Kareem Hunt trade, the Matthew Stafford injury, and a potential Jimmy Garoppolo trade kind of tied into that, and one of the top free agents left, Duane Brown, taking an interesting visit to the Jets. But we begin with the latest on Deshaun Watson. Not a ton going on here, but it is important to keep you guys covered on the number one NFL story. The NFL did indeed appeal the Deshaun Watson suspension. And per the NFL CBA, Roger Goodell gets to decide the person who will then hear and make a decision on said appeal. He picked former New Jersey Attorney General Peter Harvey to hear the appeal. Not the first time Harvey's been involved with one of these situations. He was part of the Ezekiel Elliott appeal grouping. It's also not the first time Harvey served as Goodell's appointee, and he's on the NFL Diversity Committee. This is, of course, a little bit of the NFL stacking the, I don't know, I'll call it the court in their favor, because that's how this works. So I would not be surprised, and I think the expectation is a longer suspension incoming for Deshaun Watson. So predict it again for me. Original ruling was 6 games. What will it be this time? How many games will Deshaun Watson be suspended by the NFL appeal? Sound off in the comment section. We're not done with the Browns quite yet, as Kareem Hunt. There's some trade rumors now around the current Brown former Chief back. He's been, as of late, holding in from the Browns amid a desire for a trade or a new deal. The hold in is you're present, but you're not actually doing anything in an attempt to avoid the fines. Now, per Mary Kay Cabot, the Browns are threatening to fine Kareem Hunt because he wants a new deal. The Browns are like, no. And then Hunt said, okay, trade me. And the Browns were also going, no. Hunt's been productive when healthy over the course of his NFL career, although I will make note the explosive plays had begun to dip and die down in recent seasons. 2020 was his best year, 841 yards, but the Browns are setting up this situation where they can, and I think is their plan internally, move on from Kareem Hunt after this year. They have Dearness Johnson, who's played well when given a chance. Not quite as good as Hunt, but he's played well. Nick Chubb, of course, is one of the best backs in the entire NFL. They've drafted in recent years Demetric Felton, Jerome Ford this past season. I don't think they want to trade Hunt because, especially with the Deshaun Watson situation, you might need or want to run the football a little bit more heavily this upcoming season. But he's in the last year of his deal. He wants to get paid, and Hunt knows that life as a running back is tricky because you don't get that many chances to get a new deal. So our pinned question of the day, my thoughts coming up, by the way, what should the Browns do with Kareem Hunt? Type in T for trade him, type in P for pay him, or type in N for do nothing right now. This is the pinned comment on today's show, so if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. I would make Hunt play out the contract. And I like him. He's a good football player. He's not the best back on the roster. You're paying Nick Chubb a significant amount of money. You already paid Kareem Hunt once, by the way. And given his age, he does turn 29 or 20, I can't remember which one, next year. That is typically where the running backs start to hit the wall, and they aren't the same guys they were in their prime. Look, the Browns have plenty of cap space right now, thanks to the way they structure most of their deals, including, but not limited to, the Deshaun Watson one. But I don't want to pay big money to 2 backs. That's not how I want to run things if I ran an NFL team. So, sorry, Kareem, I'd make him play out his contract, which is why he's unhappy, and this is why there's been the hold-in stuff at the moment. I'm sure he'll play this season because he don't want to get fined. Let's move to a notable injury. Matthew Stafford, the Rams star quarterback, is dealing with some type of elbow injury. I know, it's all very weird, right? It's unclear exactly what that injury is. Ian Rappaport's called it a baseball injury, thrower's elbow. It's a tendon issue, allegedly, that will require management going forward. Stafford's downplayed the exact concerns. Kind of sounds almost like, if you go back to last year's camp for the Cowboys, Dak Prescott's baseball shoulder injury. Similar situations, right? Both guys coming off big contracts. Of course, Dak had the ankle injury that was a bit more severe than what Stafford dealt with last year. When he, by the way, Stafford, also had some elbow stuff last year. Here's what Stafford said on his injury. Quote, "I just have a little soreness. We're working through it. I felt pretty good today. Thought it looked pretty good. Just trying to be smart and make me feel as good as I can going into week one while still getting as many reps as I can." Look, Stafford was awesome last year. Not the best moments at times down the stretch, but, they did win the Super Bowl, so you can't be too negative on that standpoint as it relates to Stafford. But this is one that is potentially concerning because if the Rams don't have Matthew Stafford, you're starting John Wolford, Bryce Perkins, or Luis Perez. By the way, it would end up being John Wolford, who did play briefly in the playoff game a couple of years ago when Jared Goff was banged up, but you don't have options. Like John Wolford, I'm sorry, he's not a starting quarterback. I think we all know that at this point, and even I'm sure John himself knows that. So if Stafford misses time, that's a pretty big red flag, I think. So should the Rams be worried about Matthew Stafford and that elbow injury? Why for yes and for no? Sound off for me in the comment section. Now, coming up next, we're going to look at this is interesting. Thanks, Mike Florio. How about a Jimmy Garoppolo trade to the LA Rams? I know that does sound weird/interesting. We'll break that down, but first, tell you more about today's sponsor, Manscaped. They have the best men's grooming products on the internet, and the Platinum Package is a crazy discount right now. Save 52% on all the products you see on screen here when you bundle them together. The Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, the Handy-Dandy Traveling Case, the Body Wash, shampoo, conditioner, the deodorant, the most comfortable boxers known to mankind, ball toner, ball conditioner. It is the best deal Manscaped has ever offered. Get the Platinum Package, in total 52% off, plus you're saving 20% off and getting free shipping on that when you go to manscaped.com/chat. If you need to, shouldn't have to, but if you need to, apply promo code chat at checkout, but manscaped.com/chat should automatically apply it. That link's in the comments section and in the description. It's the best deal Manscaped's offered to date. All right, on now to the Jimmy Garoppolo trade idea. Pro Football Talk has linked Jimmy Garoppolo and the Rams, and this is interesting. It makes some sense, right? Like, if the Matthew Stafford elbow injury ends up being bad, Jimmy Garoppolo is the best quarterback available on the trade or free agency market. It would also be a very rare in-division trade. And if you're the Niners, you're balancing, okay, we save a bunch of money that we'd save by cutting Jimmy Garoppolo. We get something back in a trade. We'd also be making our biggest competition to win the division better. But in the event he ends up getting cut, then the Rams could go get him. So that's a very tricky balancing act there as it relates to Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners and his whole future when he's not going to be the Niners quarterback anymore, barring a Trey Lance injury, I assume. So what do you do with him? You're stuck in a very weird, awkward situation. Here's what Mike Florio wrote/argued. It's obvious the Niners will indeed cut Garoppolo before week one. They don't want his $24.2 million base salary to become fully guaranteed. The Niners prefer to be able to trade him, and Garoppolo would prefer to land with a team that desperately needs a quarterback. That way, he'd be a lot more likely to get something closer to what he's due to earn this year. Now, we'll continue here with more on Florio and Jimmy Garoppolo in a second here as it relates to the Rams and the Seahawks side of it. But Garoppolo was good in 2021. He's been a quality football player in his career. When healthy, 2020 he was banged up. 2018 he didn't play all that much there. When healthy, he's been a good, not great quarterback. And if there is an injury, the Rams do make sense. Here's what else Florio said. But if there's no opening for a trade, the Rams could be a fit. The Seahawks could be too. It would be a strange, to say the least, if a pair of division rivals end up in a tug of war for Garoppolo. The Seahawks, by the way, have shown no real interest in adding any veteran quarterbacks, rolling with Drew Lock and Geno Smith for, reasons in the end. It's unusual to see a player of Garoppolo's caliber, who we all thought was going to be dealt, not be dealt as we get closer and closer to week one of the season. So where will Jimmy Garoppolo play in 2022? sound off and make those predictions for me in the comments section. We have some odds for you, by the way, these most notable ones coming out of Cleveland, so keep note that the Browns, in light of the potential longer Deshaun Watson suspension, well, they're the betting favorite, plus 250. The Giants and Texans, two teams that have kind of creeped up in recent weeks. I don't know if it's because there's interest or if because, well, somebody's got to get Jimmy Garoppolo. The Niners will leak any and all interest, I'm sure. Giants plus 375, Texans plus 400. Big drop-off after that. Niners plus 800, Seahawks plus 1,000. The field, i.e. everybody else, is plus 450, which maybe the field's a decent bet since that could be a surprise quarterback injury, and then Jimmy Garoppolo actually has traded it. I don't think he really has right now because that contract is a bit of a problem as we sit in early August. Now, if you want more NFL videos on training camp, the preseason, and the games that actually matter in the regular season, you've come to the right spot. Hit that big red button and subscribe for more free videos every single day, multiple times per day, right here on Chat Sports. Let's talk Duane Brown, one of the top available free agents left unsigned. He has visited with, and a bit of a surprise, I think, the New York Jets. They visited with him on Saturday. Brown is aging. He's 37 years. Will turn 37 for the season. Coming off a down year. Also had the gun charge at LAX this offseason, which is kind of more of a you're an idiot charge than necessarily anything violent, which I guess is better. Not to excuse it at all. The interest from the Jets is interesting, I believe. Brown, again, he wasn't the same guy he was in his prime. 8 sacks allowed. The PFF run grade dipped. He wasn't bad, but he also wasn't the same guy that I think we're all accustomed to. By the way, he turns 37 end of this month. The Jets' desire to add tackle help is interesting and also a bit curious because, yes, there's been the Mekhi Becton drama. People upset, or the Jets upset about his role and his weight, but he's a right tackle right now. Duane Brown's only played left tackle. I don't really think you want to take a soon-to-be 37-year-old and say, hey, we're going to flip you to the other side of the offensive line. That's a recipe for disaster and, frankly, injury. George Fant played well for them last year. Chuma Edoga and or Max Mitchell, I think, could be your backups. Maybe you want a more proven backup at the left tackle spot. If that's the case, then Brown does make sense. This is the first real interest we've seen for Brown, by the way, so far in NFL free agency. So we'll keep an eye on Brown potentially heading to the Jets. If you made it to the end of today's video, thank you. You are a real one, a true supporter of us here at Chat Sports. We'll show you some love if you can type in real one for us in the comments section.